Hey, good morning. Welcome to the 5 a.m. Mester Scrum Show. Hope you're doing well today. Wow. Weekend software bad. Just drew me down. Just depressed me all weekend. Oh, going into Monday. What we're gonna do? Well, you know what? It's Monday. It's a fun weekend. I want to talk about customer experience and new user services, and my weekend of exploring new software that's out there. Where I'm like, where the hell was the product owner on this thing? And doesn't anybody use their own code? I've ran it on this before. And rant, I don't know, but it's part of your experience as a developer using the software that you put out there. So I want to give a couple examples of that where it's why I'm such a proponent on the software developers and the teams being customers of their own software as much as possible and developing an environment where that can happen. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. So, do I have a whiteboard? Bubbles, where's the whiteboard? No, I don't have a whiteboard, and Bubbles is sleeping. Okay. All right. So it's 5 a.m. Master Scrum Show. I hope you're doing well today. And it is a Monday. And I don't know, it's 983rd episode. So what we talk about here is Scrum and Agile in a very tactical way. So you can bring value to your customer, not work crazy hours to do so, and have a little fun along the way. Well, we had fun on Friday. Today I want to talk about product and where where are our product owners out there. So a couple things happened over the weekend. One, um, my just one my kids wanted sports, my wife wanted a sports package. And also YouTube TV pricing went up to $80 a month. And I went, holy crud. Well, guess what? When you do stuff like that, it triggers the event where let's start exploring everything because it's so expensive now. I might as well go look, see what's out there in the world. And then it turned out that basically what I'm paying when I had the cutting the cables and the YouTube TV so they can watch their sports, it was the same price pretty much as whether or not I increased the cable on the TV for either the one with the V and the one with the C as far as promoters. And I just talked about YouTube TV. But anyway, I realize they're all charging the same amount of money for the same content. There's no deal anymore, right? It doesn't exist. And so I started going on. I went on because I was a customer of Verizon, went on their site, couldn't figure out a darn thing. It was the slowest site I've ever seen. I had the high level bios, right? It was slow, awkward. So I chatted with the guy. The guy was taking forever to come up with my information, asked me the same questions like 5 times. So, like, you know what? I'm gonna go over to Comcast. I went over to Comcast website. Oh, and the other part I'll talk about. So part of the things that got me confused with the Verizon, let's talk about the product. And I really wish I got stickies, right? I got sticky. Can I do this? So basically, I had the same information. They would show me all these things that I could use, right? They said, oh, we got 100 MIPS, right? There. So all across the top of the board, what I figured it out. It's really sad when you actually do this for a living that you can figure out what the heck's going on in the software. So they had all these things on their front their page where you order your product. They were all the same thing. They said 100 MIPS. What I figured out was what I was paying for originally was a 25 MIPS system, right? And there was a lot of since then. There was 45, 30, all these different capabilities out there. But what it is, here's the kicker, right? They can't update their site. So what was going on was that all the systems below 100 got upgraded to 100. They said free. I'm like, cool. I'm happy. I got the 100. It was good upload bandwidth, right? So What it is they would show the same thing. Here's all your choices. They were all the same choices. They were keeping legacy information like the 25, the 30, the 40, the 50, the 60, the 80 to 100. And they just made them all 100. But they kept the little cards up there because it was just easier to leave it there as an option because people were using it and just change the cover to look like 100. So from a UX perspective, it's like so confusing. I don't know what's below that 100. It's just a top little image. I don't know what's involved. Does I have upload speed, download speed? Why do I have 6 or 7 different little options for the same speed? Didn't make any sense. And this is where I say customer experience is so important. That was such a turnoff. And it had it all throughout the whole site. So I'm like wondering, does the product owner or the users, do they ever log into their system to see what the experience is for a new user, what they'll see? Can you imagine? I at least understand some of this stuff because I've done it for 30 years. Where someone comes in who's new and sees 10 different choices, it's going to lead them to call the customer service and ask for help. And when you talk to customer service, they're an idiot. They don't know what they're doing. They don't have enough information, right? So that's kind of the thing going on there. So I'm like, I was so distraught with how they were doing it. I said, you know what? I'm going to go into Comcast. So I went into Comcast system. Now they were a little bit better. A lot of stuff in there that wasn't quite as good as I was hoping. But I could order and get everything I wanted. And the time it took for the guy to find my information, my current plan of Verizon. So I took the leap, jumped over to Comcast and bought it, right? I bought it online. And I've done I used to work for Comcast, by a disclaimer. So I know a lot about the stuff. I know about streaming because actually that was my project that I worked on with the teams that originally got the streaming out there. So I'm in there. So comes the day of install. So on the day of install, I get a call. It says, oh, we're going to be late. Classic Comcast, right? We're going to be late. Well, what does late mean? Does late mean a half hour? Does it mean an hour? Later in the day? Should I reschedule? What is I'm going to be late mean? I don't know what that translates to. So I called the guy. The guy's like, well, sometime today. Well, I got stuff to do. I can't stay here. And I ended up staying longer because it took longer because the guy was like an hour late coming in, but that's okay. I understood that and rather get it set up. But like the translation from the customer service, customer experience. And this is where I think user experience is such a weak thing. I should email one of those guys that really does a lot of that pool. I'm going to email him and say, you're using the wrong word. It should be customer experience, not user experience, because user experience sucks. It just demeans the customer. So I got the guy on the phone. I said, what does that mean? Well, I'll give you $20 credit. I'm like, okay, fine. Give me $20 credit. And then I get it in. I go, where's the little puck, right? They got a little repeater puck that can repeat the signal to amplify it through my house. My house is old. My house is a row house in South Philly. It's made of brick. I had the greatest install. The guy who was installing said I was the best customer ever because of all the late and helping him out and do stuff. And I'm going to tell you some of the decisions I made, which I'm so happy I made. So I have 2 lines coming in. But anyway, so I said, where's the puck? He's like, because the guy's like, well, they'll mail it to, well, you don't need a puck. You got the height. I said, look. So here's what I said. Maybe I was being a little sarcastic. I said, look, you ever hear the story of the 3 little pigs where one pig had it made out of straw, one made out of sticks, and one made out of brick? Well, my house is made out of brick, not sticks. I need the repeater because the transmission rate through my house isn't as strong because it's going through brick walls. And it's not as strong. And he wasn't listening. I think he said he'd give it to me free. So I have to find out. So now I have to follow up to get the little repeater pod to repeat the signal because it's part of my deal that I purposely bought that because in the picture it had the little repeater. If needed, you get it. So I paid a little bit extra just to get the repeater and the bandwidth. So now I got to follow it with another thing. So this is all about customer experience and how you display something and it's not there, and how we're doing stuff with our first time customers, because I like playing the role of first time customer. I would do this to my teams all the time, where my teams would have all these permissions with their code, and I go, don't give me any permissions. I don't want any permissions. I want to be a regular user. I want to come in fresh and clean with absolutely no permissions, and I want to see how your software operates. And they all look at me like I'm nuts. And I do this on purpose because I want to see what it looks like. Because what happens, a lot of these developers and testers, they get lazy because they have all the permissions. So, of course, everything works, right? It's when you don't have all the permissions that stuff starts breaking. And people don't understand that. I've been doing this long enough. So that's one part of the story. So I need the repeater. So now I got to go online and go get it. Now, the other part of the story, which is an experiment on this, and this is going to be a short rant, but I want to talk about customer experience. So, so we're doing live broadcasting, right? And I thought I was buying, I'm like, cool, I'm buying 400 times the speed that I was getting with Verizon. I said, this is awesome. This will be great. Well, you got to test your systems, because what they write and what's true is two different things. So Verizon would do 100, but they were really giving me like 25. It was really, I mean, it was weak, but they had an upload speed of 100. So I tested the system. So upload speed on Verizon was awesome. I mean, it's freaking amazingly good for their system. Now, Comcast, on the other hand, their upload speed sucks, right? It's like, now I got download speed, which is great for, I guess, gaming, or material coming in, but material going out sucks, right? So now I have to debate. So, because the upload speed's only 4 or 8 or something. It was really weak. Where on Verizon was like 100. So it was like peaking out. It was the exact opposite. And so now I have to figure out what I'm going to do. Whether I keep 2 lines. And now here's what I did. The guy is like, oh, we got to cut the lines. I'm like, no, don't cut the lines. There's an extra hole that was the old original Comcast. So we pulled the cable through and I helped him out, because I've done cable installs before. So I helped him pull the cable through. So now I have 2 lines coming in. I have a Verizon line and I have a Comcast line. That Comcast line is now hooked up to the TV and some of the kids' stuff. And I'm broadcasting right now on the Comcast line, because I'm trying to figure out this week. I'm going to see how the quality shows up. Is the upload speed that important? I don't know. I would think it would be, because if you're broadcasting out, you want to have the signal that goes out to be quicker as much as the signal coming in. So we'll find out how that goes. We're testing that. But the only thing I just want to bring on this Monday morning is ask your question. How is your customer experience? Not user experience. How is your customer experience? Especially your new customers, right? The idea is you want sales growth. Sales growth does not involve necessarily existing customers. Sales growth also involves new customers. So when you produce an amazing product that you want and it's pretty good. There's so many things in Comcast product that could be so much better. But, and that will go another thing. At one point in time, I think maybe I'll do another show about getting access to your competition's product and seeing how they do it, right? Not just being, oh, ours amazing, and never looking at the comp. That'll be another story for another day. But in your first customer experience what the first time customer, what does it look like? What does it look like for accessing and buying it? Because we did that very much when we did the stream. What was their first experience? The developers said, well, it takes a minute or 2 for the stuff to load up. Our product owners, like, we went under a minute. We ended up doing like 15 seconds. Depending, it was up to 30 seconds, but the worst case was a minute, like worst case, but majority was like under 30 seconds, and under 30 seconds, the entire screen painted with all your TV options, everything you needed to do, because the way they set it up, it was a beautiful thing. So sometimes you got to look at what your experience is as a first-time customer, as well as a continued customer. But I just wanted to share those things. I can give you more. The Pinewood Derby was another one that was a fiasco, but it's almost 15 minutes. So I'm going to cut it short today. Think about your customer experience. Think about your first time customer experience when you develop this software. Try it out, see if they're doing what you think it's doing, and turn off all those damn permissions. With that, I say, have a great day. Happy scrumming. Sorry, it was maybe a downer on a Monday, but I think it's just something that needs to be shared every so often. And in my experience, I try to give you what I see every day out there in the world. So take care. Have a great day, and we will see you tomorrow.